engine roared beneath Zara as she leaned into the curve. The streets of Atlanta blurred past her, neon signs, late-night traffic, people living their normal lives. People who had no idea that death was riding past them on a black Ducati. Zara's gloved hands gripped the handlebars. Her flat-ironed bob whipped in the wind. The black lipstick she wore was the same shade as her leather jacket. Black on black on black, the color of shadows, the color of her soul. She pulled up to a red light and checked her phone. The address glowed on the screen: 2547 Peachtree Manor Drive, her father's house, her mother's house, the house that was stolen from her. The light turned green. Zara twisted the throttle. The bike shot forward like a bullet. 3 minutes later, she pulled up outside the mansion. White columns, manicured lawn, old Southern money, except it wasn't Jerome's money, it was her mother's, and Zara had come to take it back. She killed the engine. Silence fell like a curtain. Zara swung her leg off the bike and stood there for a moment, staring at the house. She hadn't seen this place in 12 years, not since the night her father sold her. Her jaw tightened. Her hands curled into fists, but before she could take another step, a voice called out behind her. "Zara, wait." She spun around. A man stood 20 feet away, tall, dark-skinned, expensive suit, eyes filled with something Zara hadn't seen in years, genuine panic. "Who are you?" Zara's voice was flat, cold. The man raised his hands. "My name is Dominic Hale, and I know this sounds insane, but I need your help." Zara's eyes narrowed. "My help? My grandfather sent me," Dominic said quickly. "He knows who you are, what you can do, and he has something you need." Zara took a step forward. Her boots crunched on the gravel driveway. "I don't need anything. You're dying," Dominic said. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Zara froze. "Virus," Dominic continued, his voice urgent. "Sister Raven injected you 3 weeks ago. You have maybe 10 weeks left. My grandfather has the antidote." Zara's heart pounded, but her face stayed blank. "Why would he give it to me?" Dominic swallowed hard. His eyes never left hers. "Because he wants you to marry me." Zara stared at him, then she laughed. It was a cold, bitter sound. "You're insane." "I know how it sounds," Dominic said desperately. "But please, just hear him out. 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking." Zara looked past him at the mansion, at the house where her father lived. The house where Sienna and Carmen were probably sleeping in her mother's bed, wearing her mother's jewelry, spending her mother's money. She could walk in there right now, in them. But if what this stranger said was true, if she really was dying, then revenge wouldn't matter. She'd be dead in 10 weeks anyway. Zara turned back to Dominic. 5 minutes. Relief flooded his face. "Thank you. My grandfather's car is right there." He pointed to a black Mercedes parked at the end of the street. Zara walked toward it. Dominic followed. As they approached, the back door opened. An older man stepped out, 70, silver hair, sharp eyes, the kind of man who'd built an empire and crushed anyone who got in his way. "Nathaniel Hale." "Miss Mitchell," Nathaniel said, his voice gravelly but strong. "Thank you for agreeing to speak with me." Zara crossed her arms. "You've got 5 minutes. Talk." Nathaniel gestured to the car. "Let's sit." Zara hesitated. Then she slid into the back seat. Dominic climbed in beside his grandfather. The door closed. The world outside disappeared. Nathaniel studied Zara for a long moment. "I'll be direct. I'm dying. Cancer. 6 months, maybe less. And before I go, I need to make sure my grandson survives." Zara raised an eyebrow. "Why wouldn't he?" Nathaniel's expression darkened. "Because my nephew Malcolm wants him dead." "Hire security," Zara said flatly. "Have security," Nathaniel said. "But Malcolm has connections to the Shadow Directive." Zara's stomach dropped. The Shadow Directive, a criminal network even more dangerous than the Nightshade Syndicate. They infiltrated wealthy families, took over their assets, and eliminated anyone who stood in the way. If Malcolm was working with them, Dominic was already a dead man. "If Malcolm is working with the Directive," Nathaniel continued, "then regular security won't be enough. I need someone who can fight at their level, someone they won't see coming." He leaned forward. "Need you?" Zara shook her head. "I don't do protection jobs." "I know," Nathaniel said, "but I also know you're dying." He pulled a small vial from his jacket, clear liquid. The label read, "Synthesis Antiviral Confidential." Zara's breath caught. "This," Nathaniel said, holding it up to the light, "is the only cure for the virus in your system. Marry my grandson. Protect him until Malcolm is dealt with. And this is yours." Zara stared at the vial. Her life, her future, everything she thought she'd lost. "And if I say no," she asked. Nathaniel's expression softened. Then you die, Dominic probably dies, and Malcolm wins. Zara looked at Dominic. He sat stiffly beside his grandfather, looking like he wanted to sink into the leather seat and disappear. Does he know what I am? Zara asked. Nathaniel nodded. He knows you were taken by the syndicate. He knows you're highly trained. But he doesn't know the details. And he doesn't need to. Dominic finally spoke. His voice was quiet but firm. I don't care what you've done. If my grandfather trusts you, that's enough for me. Zara studied him, soft eyes, clean-cut, expensive suit. The kind of man who'd never thrown a punch in his life, the exact opposite of her. This marriage, Zara said slowly, it's just business. When this is over, we go our separate ways. Nathaniel nodded. If that's what you want. Zara looked at the vial again. She thought of Big Sis, Mika, Layla. They died so she could live. And now she had a chance to actually live, not just survive live. Fine, Zara said. I'll do it. But how did Zara end up here? How did a girl who was supposed to die 12 years ago become the most dangerous woman in Atlanta? Let me take you back. Back to where this nightmare began. Before we dive in, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on those notifications. Trust me, you're gonna want to see how this story ends. And if you know someone who needs to hear about rising from the ashes, share this video with them. Now, let's go back to the beginning. 12 years earlier, Zara was 16 years old when her father sent her away to people who changed her life forever. It was 3 weeks after her mother's funeral. 3 weeks of sleeping in a bed that felt too big. 3 weeks of crying herself to sleep every night. Jerome had sat her down in the living room. Sienna stood behind him, arms crossed, wearing her mother's necklace. Zara, Jerome had said, his voice flat. You're going away. Zara's heart had stopped. What? There's an organization, Jerome continued. They're going to train you, give you opportunities, a better life than I can provide right now. I don't want to go, Zara had screamed. I want to stay here with you. Jerome's face had hardened. You're not my problem anymore. Zara had thrown herself at his legs, sobbing. Dad, please don't send me away, please. But Jerome had pried her off, handed her to a woman in a black suit, Sister Raven. She's all yours, Jerome had said. Sister Raven had smiled. Don't worry, Mr. Mitchell, we'll take excellent care of her. Zara had screamed the entire way to the van, but no one came to save her. The Nightshade Syndicate's training facility was in an abandoned factory outside the city, cold, gray, lifeless. Zara had been thrown into a room with 3 other girls. The oldest, 19, had dark skin, sharp eyes, and scars on her knuckles. Her name was Big Sis. The second girl was 18, light brown skin, soft voice. Her name was Mika. The third was 17, quiet, sad eyes. Her name was Layla. First time? Big Sis had asked. Zara had nodded, tears streaming down her face. Big Sis had knelt down. Listen to me, you cry now, get it all out, but starting tomorrow you don't cry anymore. You understand, crying makes you weak, and weak girls don't survive here. I want to go home, Zara had whispered. Big Sis had smiled sadly. There is no home anymore. We're your family now. And for 5 years they were. Big Sis taught Zara how to fight, how to read people, how to survive. Mika taught her how to pick locks, how to move silently, how to disappear. Layla taught her how to smile even when the world was falling apart. They became sisters, not by blood, by choice. They swore an oath, sisters forever. But Sister Raven had other plans. The final test came when Zara was 21. Sister Raven had gathered all 4 of them in a locked room. White walls, no windows, 1 door, a timer on the wall counting down from 5 minutes. Only one of you walks out alive. Sister Raven's voice had crackled through the speaker. If there's no winner in 5 minutes, the room fills with poison gas. You all die. Zara had looked at her sisters in horror. No. There has to be another way. Big Sis had grabbed her shoulders. Listen to me, little Z, you're the strongest, you're the fastest, you're going to survive. Won't fight you, Zara had said, shaking her head. I won't. Mika had stepped forward, tears streaming down her face. We're not asking you to. Layla had pulled something from her pocket, a small capsule. We made a choice, Big Sis had said quietly. We all did, Zara had screamed. Don't, but it was too late. All 3 of them swallowed the capsules. Poison. Within seconds they collapsed. Zara had dropped to her knees, screaming. She tried to save them, tried CPR, tried everything, but they were gone. Big Sis had used her last breath to whisper, don't let them turn you into a monster. Door had opened. Sister Raven had smiled. Congratulations, Zara, you're the sole survivor. Zara had walked out of that room alone, the only one left standing. She hadn't taken their lives, but the weight of being the one who survived would haunt her forever. For the next 7 years, Zara became exactly what Sister Raven wanted, a weapon. She completed 15 missions, never failed, never hesitated, but she never forgot her sisters, never forgot her father, never forgot what was stolen from her. And 3 weeks ago, Sister Raven had given her the gift, a chance to go home, a chance to face Jerome. What Zara didn't know was that she'd been injected with a virus during her last medical check, a death sentence. 3 months to live. Sister Raven had smiled when she told her. Consider it motivation to finish your work quickly. Present day, 3 days after agreeing to Nathaniel's deal, Zara stood outside the county clerk's office. She wore her black leather jacket, black pants, black lipstick, hair flat-ironed in a sharp bob. Dominic stood beside her in a navy suit, looking like he was about to faint. "Okay?" Zara asked. Dominic laughed nervously. "I'm about to marry a woman I met 3 days ago, so." "No, not really." Zara almost smiled, almost. "What it's worth," Dominic said quietly. "I'm sorry you got dragged into this." Zara shrugged. "I made my choice." They walked inside. The ceremony took 10 minutes, no flowers, no guests, just a bored clerk who had them sign papers and repeat vows neither of them meant. When it was over, the clerk said, "You may kiss the bride." Zara and Dominic stared at each other. "We don't have to," Dominic started. "It's fine," Zara said. She leaned in and kissed him. Quick, efficient, like checking a box. When she pulled back, Dominic looked dazed. "Well," he said, "that happened." Zara didn't respond. They walked out of the building as husband and wife. Nathaniel was waiting outside, leaning on a cane. When he saw them, he smiled. "Congratulations," he said. He handed Zara the vial. She took it, stared at it, then, without hesitation, drank it. The liquid burned, going down, but within seconds she felt something shift inside her. The constant ache in her bones, the one she'd been ignoring for weeks, faded. She was going to live. "Thank you," she said quietly. Nathaniel nodded. "No, thank you." He turned to Dominic. "Take care of her." Dominic nodded. "I will." Nathaniel smiled, then his face went pale. He clutched his chest. "Grandpa." Dominic rushed forward. Nathaniel collapsed. Nathaniel died 2 hours later in the hospital, heart attack. The doctors said there was nothing they could do. Dominic sat beside the bed, holding his grandfather's hand, tears streaming down his face. Zara stood in the corner, arms crossed, watching. She didn't cry. She hadn't cried since she was 21. But something about watching Dominic break down, watching him lose the one person who loved him unconditionally, made her chest tight. Before Nathaniel's heart monitor flatlined, he'd whispered something. Zara had sharp ears. She'd heard it. "Victor. Don't trust Victor." Then he was gone. If you're sitting there thinking, "Wait, who is Victor?" then smash that like button right now, because this story is about to get wild. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Nathaniel's death was an accident or something more? And don't you dare click away, because what happens next is going to blow your mind. At the funeral 3 days later, the Hale family gathered at a private estate in Buckhead. Zara stood beside Dominic, dressed in all black, her bob sleek and perfect, black lipstick sharp against her brown skin. She scanned the crowd. Malcolm Hale stood near the front. Tall, mid-50s, expensive suit, fake grief plastered on his face. When he saw Zara, his eyes narrowed. After the service, he approached. "So," Malcolm said, looking Zara up and down like she was a piece of meat. "You're the new Mrs. Hale." Zara didn't respond. Malcolm smiled. "I have to say, Dominic, I'm impressed. Didn't think you had it in you to land someone so striking." Dominic's jaw tight. "Show some respect, Malcolm." Malcolm laughed. "Relax, cousin, I'm just making conversation." He turned back to Zara. "Tell me, Mrs. Hale, what exactly do you do?" Zara's eyes locked on his. "Whatever needs to be done." Smile faded from Malcolm's face. "Interesting," he said slowly. Dominic stepped forward. "Grandfather left me everything, the company, the estate, all of it." Malcolm's face went red. "We'll see about that." He turned and walked away. Zara watched him go. "He's going to try to kill you," Dominic exhaled. "I know." "Good," Zara said. "Then you won't be surprised when I stop him." That night, Zara stood on the balcony of the Hale estate, staring out at the Atlanta skyline. The city glittered below her. Millions of people living their normal lives. She wasn't one of them. She never would be. Behind her, she heard footsteps. Dominic stepped onto the balcony. He held 2 glasses of wine. "Thought you might want one." Zara shook her head. I don't drink. Dominic set both glasses down. Mind if I join you? Zara shrugged. They stood in silence for a long moment. No, this whole thing is fake, Dominic said quietly. But thank you for being here. I don't think I could have gotten through today without you. Zara looked at him. Your grandfather saved my life. This is the least I can do. Dominic smiled sadly. He had a way of doing that, saving people. Loved you, Zara said. Dominic's eyes filled with tears. I loved him too. Zara turned back to the skyline. He said something before he died. Don't trust Victor. Who's Victor? Dominic frowned. Victor Caldwell. He's been our family butler for almost 20 years. He's like family. Zara's instincts prickled. Your grandfather didn't trust him. That doesn't make sense, Dominic said. Victor's been with us since I was a kid. He's loyal. Grandfather trusted him with everything. Zara didn't respond, but she made a mental note. Victor Caldwell, she'd be watching him. The next morning, Zara woke up at 5:00 a.m. She slipped out of the guest room. Dominic had insisted they sleep in separate rooms and went for a run around the estate. As she rounded the side of the mansion, she saw him, Victor Caldwell, an older white man. Late 50s, graying hair, calm expression. He was trimming roses in the garden. When he saw Zara, he smiled. Good morning, Mrs. Hale. Zara stopped. Morning. Victor set down his shears. I don't believe we've been properly introduced. Victor Caldwell, I've been with the Hale family for nearly 20 years. He extended his hand. Zara shook it. His grip was firm, steady. Zara, she said. I know this must all be very overwhelming, Victor said kindly. Marrying into a family like this. Losing Mr. Nathaniel so suddenly. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to ask. Zara studied him. He seemed genuine, warm, trustworthy, but Nathaniel's last words echoed in her mind. Don't trust Victor. Thank you, Zara said. I'll keep that in mind. Victor smiled. Wonderful. Breakfast will be ready in an hour. He turned back to the roses. Zara continued her run, but her instincts were screaming. Something was wrong. Later that day, Dominic had a meeting at Hale Global Enterprises. The family company. Zara went with him. The building was downtown, glass, steel. 50 stories of wealth and power. As they walked into the conference room, Zara scanned the faces. 10 board members, all older, all watching Dominic like vultures. Malcolm sat at the far end of the table, smirking. Dominic cleared his throat. Thank you all for coming. As you know, my grandfather passed away last week. According to his will, I'm now the majority shareholder and acting CEO of Hale Global. One of the board members, a white man in his 60s, leaned forward. With all due respect, Dominic, you're 32 years old. You have an MBA but no real leadership experience. Are you sure you're ready for this? Dominic's jaw tightened. I've been preparing for this my entire life. Malcolm laughed. Preparing? You've been playing with tech startups while the rest of us ran the actual business. Enough, Dominic said firmly. I'm not asking for your approval, I'm informing you. This company is mine now. Room fell silent, then Malcolm stood. We'll see about that. He walked out. Zara watched him go. Dominic exhaled shakily. After the meeting, Zara pulled him aside. He's going to move fast. I know, Dominic said. Then we move faster, Zara said. That night, Zara couldn't sleep. She got up, walked the halls of the estate, and that's when she heard it, voices coming from Nathaniel's study. Zara moved silently down the hall, pressed her ear to the door. 2 voices. One she recognized, Malcolm. A girl is a problem, Malcolm said. She's just his wife. Another voice responded, smooth, calm. Victor. Zara's blood ran cold. Just his wife, Malcolm scoffed. Did you see the way she looked at me? That woman is dangerous. Then we deal with her, Victor said. Simply silence. Malcolm asked. Victor's voice dropped. Leave that to me. Zara's hand moved to the doorknob. She could burst in right now. End them both, but she stopped. She needed to know more. Needed to know how deep this went. She pulled back, disappeared into the shadows. If you're hooked, drop a comment right now and tell me, do you think Victor has been the villain all along? Or is there something even bigger happening? Let's continue the story. Zara slipped back into her room without making a sound. Her heart pounded, not from fear but from adrenaline. She'd heard everything. Victor and Malcolm together. Plotting, she sat on the edge of the bed and pulled out her phone. Her fingers hovered over Dominic's contact. She should tell him, right now. But something stopped her. If she told Dominic that Victor, the man who'd been like a father to him for 20 years, was planning to harm him, would he even believe her? Or would he think she was paranoid? Seeing threats where there were none, Zara set the phone down. No, she needed proof first, hard evidence. Something even Dominic couldn't deny. She laid back on the bed and stared at the ceiling. Victor Caldwell, the loyal butler, the trusted family friend, the snake hiding in plain sight, Nathaniel had known. That's why his last words were a warning, but he died before he could tell Dominic the truth. Zara's jaw tightened. Fine. If Nathaniel couldn't protect his grandson, she would. That's what she'd been paid to do. Well, not paid exactly. She'd been given her life back. And that was worth more than any amount of money. She closed her eyes. Tomorrow she'd start digging. She'd find out exactly what Victor and Malcolm were planning, and then she'd stop them permanently. The next morning, Zara woke up at 5:30. She threw on black joggers and a hoodie, tied her hair back, and went for another run around the estate. But this time she wasn't just running, she was mapping every entrance, every exit, every blind spot, every camera. If Malcolm and Victor were going to make a move, she needed to know this place better than they did. As she rounded the west wing, she saw Victor again. Same spot, same roses, same calm smile. "Good morning, Mrs. Hale," he called out. Zara slowed to a stop. "Morning." Victor wiped his hands on a towel. "You're an early riser, I like that. Discipline is a rare quality these days." Zara shrugged. "Old habit." Victor tilted his head, studying her. "You know, Mr. Nathaniel spoke very highly of you before he passed." Zara's pulse quickened. "Did he?" Victor nodded. "He said you were exactly what this family needed. Someone strong, someone who wouldn't break under pressure." "That's kind of him," Zara said carefully. Victor smiled. "He also said you had a very particular set of skills." The air between them shifted. Zara's instincts screamed. He knew. He knew exactly who she was. "I don't know what you mean," Zara said, her voice flat. Victor's smile widened. "Of course, forgive me, I'm just an old man rambling." He turned back to the roses. Zara stood there for a moment longer, then continued her run, but her mind was racing. Victor wasn't just loyal to Malcolm. He was smart, observant, dangerous. This wasn't going to be easy. At breakfast, Dominic was already at the table, scrolling through emails on his tablet. He looked exhausted. "Morning," Zara said, sliding into the chair across from him. Dominic glanced up. "Morning, sleep okay?" "Fine," Zara lied. "You?" Dominic laughed bitterly. "Not really. Malcolm's already making moves. He's calling an emergency board meeting tomorrow. Says he wants to discuss the company's leadership direction." Zara poured herself coffee. "What does that mean?" "It means he's going to try to vote me out," Dominic said, running a hand over his face. "Grandfather left me majority shares, but Malcolm controls enough of the board to make my life hell." "He actually remove you?" Zara asked. "Easily," Dominic said, "but he can tie everything up in legal battles, freeze assets, make it impossible for me to actually run the company." Zara took a sip of coffee. "Then don't let him." Dominic looked at her. "How? Fight back," Zara said simply. "You're smarter than him, use it." Dominic blinked. Then he smiled just a little. "You really think I'm smarter than Malcolm?" "I think Malcolm's arrogant," Zara said. "Arrogant people make mistakes." Dominic's smile widened. "You know what, you're right." He stood up, energized. "I've got work to do. You gonna be okay here?" Zara nodded. "I'll be fine." Dominic grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. Then he paused, turned back. "Hey, Zara." "Yeah, thanks," he said. "For everything," Zara shrugged. "Just doing my job." Dominic left. Zara sat there for a moment, staring into her coffee. Just doing my job, that's all this was. A job, a contract, nothing more. So why did her chest feel tight every time Dominic smiled at her? She shook her head. Focus, Zara. She had work to do. While Dominic was at the office, Zara stayed behind. She needed to search Nathaniel's study. If there was any proof of Victor's betrayal, it would be there. She waited until Victor left the house. She'd overheard him telling the housekeeper he was running errands, then slipped into the study. The room was massive, dark wood, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, a huge mahogany desk. Zara started with the desk drawers, files, contracts, financial documents, nothing suspicious. Then she moved to the bookshelf, ran her fingers along the spines, and that's when she found it. A book that didn't quite sit flush with the others. She pulled it, heard a soft click. A section of the bookshelf swung open. A hidden safe. Zara's heart raced. She knelt down. The safe had a digital keypad. She tried Nathaniel's birthday. Wrong. Dominic's birthday. Wrong. Then she tried the date. Nathaniel founded Hale Global. The safe clicked open. Inside were three things: a stack of cash, a handgun, and a thick manila folder. Zara grabbed the folder and opened it. Her blood ran cold. Inside were dozens of photographs, documents, bank statements, all pointing to one thing: Victor Caldwell wasn't just a butler, he was the leader of the Shadow Directive. The photographs showed Victor meeting with known criminals, transferring money to offshore accounts, even standing over a man Zara recognized, a rival billionaire who died in a car accident 5 years ago. Nathaniel had known. He'd been investigating Victor for months, and he died before he could expose him. Zara's hands shook as she flipped through the documents. There was more, a handwritten note from Nathaniel. "If you're reading this, I'm already dead. Victor has been poisoning me slowly for the past 6 months. I don't have proof, but I know it's him. Dominic is in danger. Protect him. Trust no one else. N.H." Zara's jaw clenched. Victor hadn't just betrayed Nathaniel, he'd ended his life. She stuffed the folder into her jacket and closed the safe. She needed to get this to Dominic. Now. But as she turned to leave, she heard footsteps in the hallway. Zara froze. The door opened. Victor stood there holding a bag of groceries. His eyes landed on the open bookshelf. Then on Zara, his warm smile vanished. "Well," Victor said slowly, setting the groceries down. "This is unfortunate." Zara's hand moved to her waistband. She didn't carry a gun in the house, didn't want to spook Dominic, but she had a knife strapped to her ankle. Victor raised his hands. "Let's not do anything rash, Mrs. Hale." "You ended him," Zara said, her voice ice cold. "You ended Nathaniel," Victor sighed. "I did what was necessary." "Necessary?" Zara's voice rose. "He saved your life, he took you in, and you poisoned him." Victor's expression hardened. "He was dying anyway, cancer. I just sped things along." Zara took a step forward. "Why?" "Because he was in the way," Victor said simply. "The Hale family has more money than they know what to do with. And Nathaniel was too smart, too careful. He would have never let me take control." "So you ended him and planned to harm Dominic too," Zara said. Victor smiled. "Not harm, control. There's a difference." "To me?" Zara lunged. Victor was fast, faster than she expected for a man his age. He sidestepped, grabbed a heavy bookend from the desk and swung at her. Zara dodged, her training kicking in. She swept his legs. He stumbled but didn't fall. They circled each other. "Good," Victor said, breathing hard. "Better than I expected." "You have no idea," Zara said. She feinted left, then struck right. Her fist connected with his jaw. He staggered back, but before she could follow up, he pulled a small device from his pocket and pressed a button. An alarm blared through the house. "Security will be here in 30 seconds, Victor said. "And when they arrive, I'll tell them you attacked me, tried to rob the safe. Who do you think they'll believe? The trusted family butler? Or the stranger Dominic married a week ago?" Zara's mind raced. He was right. She had no proof that would hold up in the moment. The folder was evidence, but Victor could spin it. Say she planted it. Say she was working with Malcolm. She needed to get out, regroup. Bring this to Dominic with a plan. Zara backed toward the window. "Running?" Victor taunted. "How disappointing." "I don't run," Zara said. "I strategize." She kicked the window open and jumped. Zara hit the ground and rolled. She was on the second floor, but she'd trained for worse falls. She sprinted across the lawn toward the garage. Her motorcycle was parked there. Behind her, she heard shouting. Security guards pouring out of the house. She reached the garage, threw her leg over the Ducati and fired up the engine. The bike roared to life. She twisted the throttle and shot out of the garage just as 2 guards reached her. They shouted. One tried to grab the bike, but Zara was already gone, tearing down the driveway and onto the main road. Her heart pounded. Her mind raced. She needed to get to Dominic. Warn him. Show him the folder. But first, she needed to make sure she wasn't followed. She took 3 sharp turns, weaving through traffic, checking her mirrors clear. She pulled into a parking garage downtown, killed the engine, and pulled out her phone. She dialed Dominic. It rang once, twice. Dominic's voice came through, confused. "What's wrong? Where are you?" Zara asked. "At the office." "Why? What happened?" "Stay there," Zara said. "Don't leave. Don't talk to anyone. I'm coming to you." "Zara, you're scaring me." "Just trust me," Zara said. "I'll explain everything when I get there." She hung up. Then she looked down at the folder in her lap. Victor had made his first mistake. He'd underestimated her. And that was going to cost him everything. 20 minutes later, Zara walked into Hale Global Enterprises. She was still wearing her joggers and hoodie, her bob slightly messed up from the wind. She got a few stares from employees in the sleek glass lobby, but she didn't care. She took the elevator to the 50th floor, Dominic's office. When she walked in, Dominic was on the phone. He saw her and immediately hung up. "Zara, what the hell is going on?" Zara closed the door, locked it. Then she tossed the folder onto his desk. "Victor ended your grandfather." Dominic froze. "What?" "Open it," Zara said. Dominic opened the folder. His face went pale as he flipped through the photographs, the bank statements, the note. This can't be real," he whispered. "It's real," Zara said. "Your grandfather knew. He was investigating Victor for months. And Victor poisoned him before he could expose the truth." Dominic sank into his chair. "Victor, but he's been with us for 20 years. He's family." "He's a liar," Zara said. "And he's working with Malcolm to take over your company." Dominic's hands shook. I don't understand." "Why? Money, power, control," Zara said. "Same reason anyone betrays the people who love them." Dominic looked up at her, his eyes filled with pain. "How do we stop him?" Zara pulled up a chair and sat down. "We take this to the police, FBI, anyone who can investigate the shadow directive." "The what?" "Victor's not just a butler," Zara said. "He's the leader of a criminal organization. They infiltrate wealthy families, take over their assets, and eliminate anyone who gets in the way." Dominic stared at her. "How do you know all this?" Zara hesitated. "Because I used to work for people like him." Room went silent. Dominic's expression shifted. "What do you mean?" Zara took a breath. "Your grandfather told you I was taken by an organization when I was a kid. What he didn't tell you was what they trained me to do." "Which was?" Zara met his eyes. "End people." Dominic's face went white. "Not that person anymore," Zara said quickly. "I left, I got out, but I know how people like Victor think, how they operate, and I know how to stop them." Dominic stared at her for a long moment. Then he stood up, walked around the desk, and pulled her into a hug. Zara froze. She didn't know what to do. Her arms hung awkwardly at her sides. "Thank you," Dominic whispered, "for telling me the truth." Slowly, carefully, Zara's arms came up. She hugged him back. It felt strange, unfamiliar, but not bad. After a moment, Dominic pulled back. "So what do we do?" Zara's jaw tightened. "We call someone I trust." She pulled out her phone and dialed. The phone rang twice. Then a sharp voice answered. "This is Detective Lisa Chen." "Lisa," Zara said. "It's Zara, I need your help." 2 hours later, Detective Lisa Chen walked into Dominic's office. She was in her early 40s. Asian American, sharp suit, sharper eyes. "Zara," Lisa said, nodding. "It's been a while." "Long," Zara said. Lisa turned to Dominic. "Mr. Hale, I've heard a lot about you." Dominic shook her hand. "Detective, thank you for coming." "Thank me yet," Lisa said. She sat down and opened her laptop. "Zara filled me in on the phone. Victor Caldwell, the shadow directive, your grandfather's death." "You help us?" Dominic asked. Lisa nodded. "I've been tracking the shadow directive for 5 years. They're ghosts, but if Victor really is the leader and you have proof, then yes, we can bring him down." She gestured to the folder. "May I?" Dominic handed it to her. Lisa flipped through it, her expression hardening. "This is good, really good, but it's not enough for an arrest. We need something current, something that proves he's actively committing crimes." "What?" Zara asked. Lisa looked at her. "Confession." Zara's eyes narrowed. "You want me to get him to confess?" "I want you to wear a wire," Lisa said. "Go back to the estate, confront him, get him talking. If he admits to ending Nathaniel, to working with the directive, we can move in and arrest him." Dominic shook his head. "Absolutely not, that's too dangerous." "Can handle it," Zara said. "Zara." "Dominic," Zara said firmly. "This is what I do, trust me." Dominic looked at her, then at Lisa, then back at Zara. Finally, he nodded. "Okay, but I'm coming with you," Zara said. "Yes," Dominic insisted. "He's my family's problem. I'm not letting you face him alone." Zara wanted to argue, but she saw the determination in his eyes. "Fine," she said. "But you stay in the car. You don't come inside unless I say so." Dominic nodded. Lisa handed Zara a small device. "This is a wire. Clip it to your bra. It's voice activated. Everything he says will be recorded and transmitted directly to me." Zara took it. "Got it." Lisa stood. "I'll have a team standing by. The second you give the signal, we move in." "What's the signal?" Dominic asked. Zara smiled, cold and sharp. "You'll know." That evening, Zara and Dominic pulled up to the Hale estate. The sun was setting. The mansion looked peaceful, beautiful, but Zara knew better. "You ready?" Dominic asked. Zara clipped the wire to her bra, tucked it under her shirt, and nodded. "Yeah." "Be careful," Dominic said. Zara looked at him. "I always am." She stepped out of the car and walked toward the house. Her heart was calm, her mind focused. This was it. She pushed open the front door. Victor was waiting in the foyer. He smiled when he saw her. "Mrs. Hale," he said smoothly. "I was wondering when you'd come back." Zara crossed her arms. "We need to talk." Victor gestured to the sitting room. "Of course, after you." They walked into the room. Victor closed the door behind them, and the game began. Zara sat down across from Victor in the sitting room. The evening light filtered through the tall windows, casting long shadows across the Persian rug. Victor poured himself a glass of whiskey, completely relaxed. "Can I offer you something to drink?" Victor asked, swirling the amber liquid. "No," Zara said flatly. Victor smiled. "Still all business, I see." He took a sip. "I have to admit, Mrs. Hale, I'm impressed. Most people would have run straight to the police with that folder, but you came back." "I wanted to understand something first," Zara said. "Oh, and what's that?" Zara leaned forward. "Why Nathaniel, he saved your life, took you in when you had nothing. Why the one man who showed you kindness?" Victor's smile faded. He set down his glass and stared at it for a long moment. "You want to know the truth?" Victor asked quietly. "That's why I'm here." Victor stood and walked to the window. His back was to Zara. 20 years ago, I was dying in an alley in Chicago, stabbed, bleeding out. No one stopped to help. They just stepped over me like I was trash." He paused. "And then Nathaniel Hale came along. He didn't know me, didn't owe me anything, but he called an ambulance, paid for my hospital bills, gave me a job when I recovered." Zara stayed silent, letting him talk. "I was grateful," Victor continued. "For years, I was genuinely grateful. I worked hard, proved myself, became part of this family." He turned to face her. "But gratitude turns to resentment when you realize you'll never be equal. No matter how hard I worked, no matter how loyal I was still just the help, the butler, the man who served them their meals and ironed their shirts." "So you decided to take everything," Zara said. "I decided to take what I earned," Victor corrected. 20 years of service. 20 years of watching them waste money on things that didn't matter. I built connections. I learned their secrets. And I realized something." "What?" Victor's eyes went cold. "That loyalty is a weakness, and the only way to survive in this world is to take what you want before someone else does." "So you joined the Shadow Directive," Zara said. Victor raised an eyebrow. "Not joined, I created it." Zara's blood ran cold. "That's right," Victor said, clearly enjoying her reaction. "The Shadow Directive didn't exist before me. I built it from the ground up, started with small jobs, helping wealthy families disappear problematic relatives. Then it grew. Now we have networks in 15 countries. Nathaniel found out," Zara said. Victor nodded. "About 6 months ago, yes, he started asking questions, digging into my finances. I knew it was only a matter of time before he exposed me." "So you poisoned him?" Victor smiled. Slowly, carefully, made it look like his cancer was progressing faster than expected. No one suspected a thing. Zara's fists clenched. "Except he knew. He left that folder. He left a note." "Note no one would have found if you hadn't gone snooping," Victor said. "Which brings me to my next question. What exactly are you, Mrs. Hale?" Zara didn't answer. Victor stepped closer. "Because you're not just some random woman Nathaniel hired to protect Dominic. You move like a soldier, you fight like a professional, and you found that safe in under an hour." He stopped right in front of her. "So I'll ask again. What are you?" Zara met his eyes. "I'm the woman who's going to make sure you pay for what you did," Victor laughed. "With what? That folder. I'll just say Nathaniel was losing his mind, paranoid from the cancer treatments. No one will believe a dead man's conspiracy theories. They'll believe a recorded confession," Zara said. Victor's smile vanished. Zara stood and pulled the wire from under her shirt, holding it up. "Everything you just said. The FBI heard it. They're on their way right now." The first time, fear flashed across Victor's face. Then it hardened into rage. "You little," he lunged at her. Zara sidestepped and drove her elbow into his ribs. Victor grunted but recovered faster than expected. He grabbed a fireplace poker and swung. Zara ducked. The poker whistled past her head and smashed into a lamp. "I train men twice your size," Victor snarled, swinging again. Zara caught the poker mid-swing, twisted it out of his hands, and threw it across the room. "Then they weren't very good," she said. She swept his legs. Victor crashed to the floor. Before he could get up, Zara was on him, her knee on his chest, her hand around his throat. "This is for Nathaniel," she whispered. Victor's eyes bulged. "You won't end me." "You're right," Zara said. Because you're going to rot in prison for the rest of your life. She heard footsteps. The front door burst open. Detective Lisa Chen rushed in with 4 armed agents behind her. FBI, hands where I can see them. Zara raised her hands and stepped back. Victor lay on the floor, gasping. Lisa knelt beside him and cuffed his wrists. Victor Caldwell, you're under arrest for the murder of Nathaniel Hale, conspiracy, racketeering, and about 15 other charges I'm going to enjoy reading to you. Victor glared at Zara. This isn't over. Zara crouched down so they were eye level. Yeah, it is. Lisa hauled Victor to his feet and led him toward the door. As they passed Dominic, who'd run inside when he heard the commotion, Victor spat at him. Your grandfather was a fool, and so are you. Dominic's face went hard. My grandfather was a better man than you'll ever be. Victor laughed bitterly as the agents dragged him out. Once the house was clear, Dominic turned to Zara. Are you okay? He asked. Zara nodded. I'm fine, Dominic exhaled shakily. I can't believe it, Victor, all this time. People hide who they really are, Zara said quietly. Until they can't anymore, Dominic looked at her. Is that what you do, hide who you really are? Zara hesitated. Sometimes. Well, Dominic said softly, you don't have to, not with me. Zara didn't know what to say to that. Lisa walked back in, tucking her phone into her pocket. We got him, full confession on tape, he's going away for life. What about Malcolm? Dominic asked. Lisa grimaced. That's where it gets complicated. We don't have hard evidence linking Malcolm to Victor's crimes. He's smart, kept his hands clean. So he gets away with it. Dominic's voice rose. Exactly, Lisa said. We're opening an investigation into his business dealings. If he's been working with the Shadow Directive, we'll find the connection, but it's going to take time. Dominic ran a hand over his face. So what do I do in the meantime? You run your company, Zara said. You show the board you're in control, and you don't let Malcolm intimidate you. Dominic looked at her. Easier said than done. Then it's a good thing you're not doing it alone, Zara said. Dominic's expression softened. You're staying? Zara paused. She completed the job. Victor was arrested. Dominic was safe. She could leave right now, collect her divorce papers, disappear, but something stopped her. For now, she said. If your heart is pounding right now, drop a comment and tell me what you think happens with Malcolm. Does he get caught, or does he have one more trick up his sleeve? Don't go anywhere. Stick with me till the end of this story. The next morning, Dominic called an emergency board meeting. Zara stood in the back of the conference room, arms crossed, watching. Malcolm sat at the far end of the table, smug as ever. Dominic stood at the head. I'm sure you've all heard by now that Victor Caldwell was arrested last night for the murder of my grandfather. Murmurs rippled through the room. Malcolm leaned back in his chair. A tragedy, truly. But what does that have to do with company business? Dominic's eyes locked on Malcolm. Has everything to do with company business, because Victor didn't act alone. Malcolm's smirk faltered. What are you insinuating? Not insinuating anything, Dominic said. I'm stating a fact. Victor was working with someone inside this family to destabilize Hale Global, and I know it was you. Room went silent. Malcolm stood. You have no proof of that. Yet, Dominic said. But the FBI is investigating, and when they find the connection, and they will, you're going down with him. Malcolm's face went red. You can't threaten me. I'm not threatening you, Dominic said calmly. I'm warning you, stay away from me, stay away from my company, and stay away from my wife. Malcolm's eyes flicked to Zara. She stared back, unblinking. This isn't over, Malcolm hissed. Yeah, Dominic said. It is. Malcolm grabbed his briefcase and stormed out. The other board members sat in stunned silence. One of them, an older black woman named Mrs. Patterson, cleared her throat. Mr. Hale, if I may, your grandfather would be proud of you, Dominic's voice caught. Thank you. Patterson stood. I move that we formally recognize Dominic Hale as CEO of Hale Global Enterprises effective immediately. Seconded, another board member said. The vote was unanimous. Dominic looked around the room, overwhelmed. Thank you, all of you. I promise I won't let you down. As the meeting adjourned, Zara slipped out. She didn't do well with emotional moments. Later that afternoon, Zara stood in the garage, staring at her motorcycle. She should leave. The job was done. Dominic was safe. Victor was in custody. Malcolm was being investigated. There was no reason to stay except leaving without saying goodbye. Zara turned. Dominic stood in the doorway, hands in his pockets. I wasn't going to leave, Zara said. I was just thinking. About what? Zara looked at the bike. About whether I belong here. Dominic walked over. Do you want to belong here? Zara didn't answer. Look, Dominic said. I know this whole thing started as a deal, a contract, but somewhere along the way it stopped feeling like that, at least for me. Zara's chest tightened. Not asking you to stay forever, Dominic continued. I'm just asking you to stay a little longer, give us a real chance. Zara looked at him, at his kind eyes, his hopeful expression. She thought of Big Sis, of Mika, of Layla. They died so she could live. But what did living mean if she spent the rest of her life running? Okay, Zara said quietly. Dominic blinked. Okay, I'll stay, Zara said, for a little longer. Dominic's face broke into the biggest smile she'd ever seen. Really? Don't make me regret it, Zara said. Dominic laughed and pulled her into a hug. This time, Zara didn't freeze. She hugged him back. And for the first time in 12 years, she felt something she thought she'd lost forever, hope. 3 weeks later, Detective Lisa Chen called. We got him, Lisa said. Zara put the phone on speaker. Dominic leaned in. Who? Dominic asked. Malcolm, Lisa said. Turns out he's been funneling money to the Shadow Directive for years. Wire transfers, shell companies, the whole 9 yards. We arrested him this morning. Dominic's eyes widened. Are you serious? Dead serious, Lisa said. He's looking at 25 to life. Dominic sat back, stunned. It's really over. It's really over, Lisa confirmed. Oh, and Zara, Victor's asking to see you. Zara frowned. Why? He wouldn't say, but I figured you'd want to know. Zara thought for a moment. Set it up. Days later, Zara sat in a cold interrogation room at the Federal Detention Center. Victor was brought in, wearing an orange jumpsuit, hands cuffed. He sat down across from her. Mrs. Hale, he said, thank you for coming. Zara didn't respond. Victor sighed. I know you hate me. You have every right to, but I wanted to tell you something. What? Victor met her eyes. You remind me of myself. 20 years ago. Zara's jaw tightened. I'm nothing like you. You're exactly like me, Victor said. You were betrayed by the people who were supposed to love you. You were turned into a weapon, and now you're trying to figure out if you can ever be anything else. Zara stood. I came here because I thought you might actually have something worth saying. I was wrong. Victor said. Please. Zara stopped. No, I can't undo what I did, Victor said quietly. But if there's one thing I learned too late, it's this. Don't let your past define your future. You have a chance I never had. Someone who actually cares about you. Don't throw it away because you're afraid. Zara stared at him for a long moment, then she walked out without another word. Outside the detention center, Dominic was waiting by the car. What did he say? Dominic asked. Zara shook her head. Nothing that matters. They drove back to the estate in silence. But as they pulled into the driveway, Zara spoke. Dominic. Yeah, that night, when you stopped me from hurting my father. Why did you do it? Dominic turned off the engine. Because I saw something in your eyes, pain, and I didn't want you to add more to it. Zara looked down at her hands. My father destroyed my life. He deserved everything I wanted to do to him. Maybe, Dominic said. But you deserved better than becoming the kind of person who could do it. Zara's throat tightened. You asked me once if my love for you was cheap, Dominic said. It's not. It never was. I see you, Zara, not the weapon, not the fighter. I see the woman who saved my life. The woman who's brave enough to keep trying even after everything she's been through. Zara felt something break inside her, a wall she'd been holding up for 12 years. A tear slipped down her cheek. She wiped it away quickly, but Dominic saw. It's okay, he said gently. You're allowed to feel things. Zara laughed, a shaky, broken sound. I don't know how. Then I'll teach you, Dominic said. He reached over and took her hand. Zara looked at their intertwined fingers, and she didn't pull away. 1 month later, Zara stood on the balcony of the Hale estate, staring out at the Atlanta skyline. The city glittered below her. Beautiful, alive. Behind her, she heard the door open. Dominic stepped out, holding 2 mugs of hot chocolate. Thought you might want this, he said. Zara took the mug. Thanks. They stood in comfortable silence for a moment. Have something to tell you, Zara said. Dominic looked at her. Okay, pregnant. Dominic's eyes went wide. The mug slipped from his hand and shattered on the ground. What? Zara looked at him. Pregnant, about 6 weeks. Dominic's face went through about 15 different emotions in 5 seconds. Shock, disbelief, joy, panic, more joy. Are you serious? He stammered. Zara nodded. Dominic let out a breathless laugh and pulled her into his arms. Oh my God, we're having a baby. Zara hugged him back, her heart pounding. Are you happy? Dominic asked, pulling back to look at her. Zara thought about it. 6 months ago, she'd been a weapon with no future, no hope. No reason to live beyond revenge. Now she was standing here, safe, loved, with a life growing inside her. Yeah, Zara said softly. I think I am. Dominic kissed her forehead. I love you, Zara's breath caught. She'd never said those words to anyone, not even her sisters, but as she looked at Dominic, at the man who'd seen her at her worst and loved her anyway, the words came easier than she expected. Love you too. But before Zara could fully settle into this new life, there was one more ghost she needed to face. Next morning there was a knock on the door of the Hale estate. Zara answered it. Jerome stood on the porch looking older, grayer. Broken Sienna and Carmen stood behind him, both looking haggard and desperate. Zara, Jerome said quietly. Zara didn't say anything. We heard you had good news, Jerome said, his voice shaking. About the baby. We wanted to say congratulations. Zara's expression stayed cold. Is that all? Jerome swallowed hard. And we wanted to say we're sorry. For everything. I know it doesn't change anything, but… You're right, Zara interrupted. It doesn't change anything. Sienna stepped forward, her eyes red. Zara, please, we've lost everything, the house, the money, everything. We're living in a shelter. We just need… What? Zara asked, her voice sharp. You need help, you need money, you need forgiveness. Carmen burst into tears. We're family, Zara, please. Zara stared at them. Family, these people who'd celebrated when she disappeared. Who'd stolen her mother's legacy, who'd treated her like garbage. You want to know what family is? Zara said quietly. Family is 3 girls who gave up their lives so I could live. Family is a man who sees me at my worst and loves me anyway. Family is the people who show up when you need them most. She looked at Jerome. You sent me far away from you. You left me. You stole everything my mother left me, and you never once looked back. Tears streamed down Jerome's face. I was desperate. I made terrible choices. We all make choices, Zara said. You made yours and I've made mine. My choice is to move on, to build a life that has nothing to do with you, Jerome sobbed. Please, Zara, you're all I have left. Zara felt nothing, no anger, no pain, no pity, just peace. Goodbye, Jerome, she said, and she closed the door. Dominic was standing in the hallway. He'd heard everything. You okay? He asked. Zara nodded. Yeah, I really am. Dominic smiled. What changed? Zara looked down at her stomach. I realized something. For 12 years I've been carrying around all this pain, all this anger, and it was eating me alive. Now I have something worth living for, Zara said. This life we're building. She looked at Dominic. My sisters died so I could live, and I'm finally doing that, really living, not just surviving. Dominic kissed her temple. They'd be proud of you. Zara's eyes filled with tears. I hope so. 6 months later, Zara gave birth to a baby girl. They named her Mika Layla Hale after her sisters. Dominic held the baby in his arms, tears streaming down his face. She's perfect. Zara lay in the hospital bed, exhausted but smiling. For the first time in her life, she smiled without forcing it. Detective Lisa Chen came to visit later that day, bringing flowers. She's beautiful, Lisa said, peering at the baby. Looks like her mama. Let's hope she has her father's personality, Zara said. They laughed. Speaking of which, I have one final update for you, Dominic asked. Malcolm's trial ended yesterday, Lisa said. He got 30 years, no parole. Dominic exhaled. It's really over, Lisa confirmed. After Lisa left, Dominic squeezed Zara's hand. How does it feel, knowing it's all done? Victor, Malcolm, your father, all of it. Zara looked down at her daughter. At this tiny, perfect human who depended on her. It feels like freedom, she said. 1 year later, Zara stood in front of 3 gravestones. She'd finally found out where the Nightshade Syndicate had buried her sisters. She knelt down and placed flowers on each grave. Big sis. Mika, Layla, she whispered. I made it, I'm happy, I'm loved, and I'm free. She touched each stone. Thank you for everything. Behind her, Dominic stood holding baby Mika, who was now walking and babbling. Mika called out, reaching for her. Zara stood and took her daughter's hand. Come on, baby girl, she said. Let's go home. And as they walked away, Zara didn't look back. Because for the first time in her life, she was moving forward. 3 years later, Zara stood in the dojo she'd opened in downtown Atlanta. It was a self-defense school for women and girls who'd been through difficult times. She taught them how to fight, how to protect themselves, how to survive. But most importantly, she taught them how to heal. One of her students, a 16-year-old girl named Jasmine, approached her after class. Miss Zara, Jasmine said quietly. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Jasmine said. Before I came here, I thought I'd never feel safe again, but you showed me I could be strong." Zara smiled. "You were always strong, Jasmine. I just helped you see it." Jasmine hugged her and left. Dominic walked in, carrying Mika and their newborn son, Nathan Hale, named after his great-grandfather. "How was class?" Dominic asked. "Good," Zara said. "Really good." Mika ran over and grabbed Zara's hand. "Mama, can we get ice cream?" Zara laughed. "Sure, baby girl, let's go." As they walked out of the dojo, Dominic put his arm around Zara. "You know what?" he said. "What? You're a hero," Dominic said. Zara shook her head. "I'm not a hero." "You are," Dominic insisted. "You turned your pain into purpose. You help people, you protect people. That's what heroes do." Zara thought about it. Maybe he was right. Maybe she wasn't just a weapon anymore. Maybe she was something better, a protector, a teacher, a mother, a wife, a survivor. "Maybe," Zara said, smiling. And as they walked down the Atlanta streets together, a family built from pain but held together by love, Zara finally understood what Big Sis had meant all those years ago. Asterisk, don't let them turn you into a monster. Asterisk, she hadn't. She'd become something so much better. She'd become herself. The strongest warriors aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones brave enough to get back up, to trust again, and to turn their pain into power. Zara lost everything, her family, her childhood, her innocence. But she gained something even more valuable, the courage to heal, to love, to live. She could have let her past destroy her. She could have become exactly what the Nightshade Syndicate wanted, a weapon with no heart, no soul, no future. But she chose differently. She chose to honor her sisters by living the life they died to give her. She chose to break the cycle of pain that started with her father's betrayal. She chose to build something beautiful out of the ashes of everything she'd lost. And in the end, that's what real strength looks like. Not the ability to hurt others, but the courage to heal yourself. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button right now and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment and tell me what you loved most about Zara's journey. What moment hit you the hardest? When did you start rooting for her? And make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because I have more incredible stories coming your way. Stories about people who refuse to let their past define their future. Stories about rising from the ashes. Stories about finding love when you thought you'd lost everything. Remember, your past doesn't define your future. You do. The choices you make today determine who you become tomorrow. Choose healing, choose growth, choose love. I'll see you in the next story. Stay strong, stay blessed, and never forget you are more powerful than you know.